Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And a good morning to you. It is now time for Coffee Ann here on ON AM and FM. It is Monday morning. It's March 20th. It is the first day of spring coming in later this afternoon. So we're all happy about that. This is Joe Callahan at the Coffee Ann table. Say good morning to Dave Richards. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Joe. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to our guests who are just about to be introduced.
Melissa Murray's here. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning.
And from the Autumn Fest Steering Committee will be the Autumn Fest General Chairman, Chairperson. There we go. Judy Sullivan is here. Hi, Judy.
Good morning.
All right, and not to disappoint...
She's looking very fit, don't you think, Joe?
Always. And not to disappoint Melissa, we'll start it off with some sports this morning, Melissa.
I knew you were going to do that because you know what? It was a big weekend.
Why?
So
Well, it was a disappointing weekend, that's why.
I know.
PC men's basketball lost. PC men's hockey lost. Marquette
So are we
University
crying in our
lost.
coffee this
yes,
morning?
we're
Is
crying.
that the deal?
We're
Bruins
we're wringing our
blew out.
hands.
What was it?
Oh.
Who were they
I know.
playing
I
yesterday?
felt
Vancouver?
for you.
Buffalo.
I felt for you.
Buffalo, right.
Oh, thanks, Melissa. Appreciate
did.
that.
They just
Yes.
blew them to pieces.
Yes, that was the Bruins did well. So yeah, but
They
as a
scored
true,
8 goals to
7.
0 goals for the other
it
side.
was 7-0.
The final score was 7-0
Um,
because 1 goal was disallowed
See when
on
the
a technicality.
but as a
they
true New
scored 8 goals.
But as a true New England sports person, you focus on the negative and the losses, not okay, they won, great. But we lost over here. Can you believe that? No, believe
Good
that.
news, we're not talking about the Red Sox either.
Well, nope. All right. So do you follow it at all, Judy, the basketball tournament?
No, I do not.
No?
So
Okay.
sorry.
All right. Well, PC lost.
Yes.
And the team, Fairleigh Dickinson, that was the number 16 seed that upset Purdue, which I saw that game. That was exciting. Lost the next game. So there you go. But Princeton is still in it, which is pretty cool. They were number 15, and they move on to the Sweet 16. But enough sports, okay, Melissa? There we go.
I do know about the Sweet 16. I did watch a few games here and there over
You
the
did?
weekend.
Oh,
I
good for
did.
you.
Yep.
We'll
I
make
mean,
you
I
a-
was doing other things and kind of half watching, but
We'll make you a sports fan yet.
I'm
It's difficult,
I'm on it.
Judy,
Yeah,
I tell you.
it's difficult. I'm
All right.
difficult.
We asked Judy Sullivan to come in from Autumn Fest because there's a couple of big announcements a couple of press releases have been put out that we want to talk about that Autumn Fest is up to. And the first thing is the first year that we've named it the Nancy Phillips Autumn Fest Scholarship
Yes.
is
very-
available to a graduating senior.
Yes. Extremely exciting to offer the scholarship again this year. We actually have upped the ante, and it's one $1,000 scholarship for a graduating senior. They can do their applications. They can go to autumnfest.org, and it's a pretty simple application, 500-word essay to go along with it. Put their applications in. It's definitely, good money, and you can put it to good use once you get into college.
And it goes to a graduating senior from Woonsocket High, Woonsocket Area Career and Technical Center, or Mount St. Charles Academy.
Right.
So you have to be attending those schools. And the 500-word scholarship just asks you to tell the Autumn Fest committee specific details on how you have volunteered to make a difference in your community and the lives around you.
Yeah,
So,
possibly in Autumn Fest as well, but definitely in the community.
yeah. And so I know we got together as a committee and said, we have been giving away a $500 scholarship. Can we up it at all? And we took a look at the treasurer, who said no, but we beat her down and said, all right, fine. And we made it so much more lucrative.
She keeps us solvent, that treasurer.
Cindy, can we spend money? No.
No.
But harder heads prevailed that time.
Yes.
It
And
was, let's
super
make it
excited that
$1,000.
it's the Nancy Phillips Autumn Fest Scholarship. She's been with us for over 30 years, so well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved.
Yes. Yep.
She was quite taken when we said
she
we were
was.
announcing the Nancy Phillips Autumn Fest Scholarship.
So,
I remember.
Yeah.
you did not tell her. You kind of announced it to her.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's nice.
At one of her last meetings that she attended. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
She was awestruck
Yeah, I
and,
bet. I
and
bet.
speechless
Yeah.
at the time. So, and if you want to take part in the scholarship, you can go to our website, autumnfest.org. You can either download the application, or you can fill it out online, can't you? fill it out online?
I think you have to download
Okay,
it. don't-
download it, fill it
Yeah.
out, and then you
Yeah.
email it or to us, and it has to be into the secretary of Autumn Fest, Adam Brunetti. Has to be in by May 1st,
Right.
at 2 p.m. And then we make the decision from there. All right. And so this is what year? How many years have we been giving away the
I believe
scholarship?
this is the fourth.
Fourth year.
Fourth year.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to think of the last recipients. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does say, please download the application from the website and then email the completed application plus your essay to the secretary. And hey, it could be an easy $1,000
Yeah.
for a graduating senior.
Mm-hmm.
So
Every penny helps.
Sure,
Might cover books.
Right. Might cover books.
Might.
Yeah.
at least for one semester. So.
Right.
But hey, it covers it right there,
Yeah.
right? So that's great. And the other thing going on with Autumn Fest, one of the other things going on with Autumn Fest is at the Woonsocket City Council meeting tonight. The City Council is going to vote every year to allow Autumn Fest to take over World War II Park, and they'll be voting on it this evening.
Yes. Yes. And hopefully you can invite anybody with their orange jackets to show up to the meeting to support Autumn Fest.
And and it usually goes through 7-0. But just in case, you never know when someone new on the committee has a question.
Right.
Hey, what is this kind of thing? And so we're there to answer
I don't think
questions.
anybody running for council in Woonsocket has a.
Hey, what is
like,
this?
What? I've never heard of Autumn Fest. If they hadn't, then you'd be like, you know what?
Maybe you shouldn't be on the council. huh?
Maybe you should be here.
And who's the strange person with the orange jacket?
Yeah. All right, so that's going on tonight as well, 7:00 down there at Harris Hall. The other thing going on with Autumn Fest is nominations are now open.
Yes,
For
for our Grand
Grand
Marshal.
Marshal, yes.
And Joe knows all this because he puts out all of our press releases. So
Yes.
actually writes
does.
them, knows them inside and out.
Well, I know about that, but I do write them. So
Sometimes he writes them several times.
yes,
And then he sends them out.
Yep. So
Well,
we are looking for nominations for Grand Marshal for 2023. And those applications have to be in April 1st, which is
30th.
30th. Oh, my, April 1st. April 30th, which is right around the corner. It is. So anybody,
April 1st is even more around the corner.
Yes.
It's a much shorter corner.
so we're looking for you, the public, to tell the Autumn Fest Steering Committee about someone that your nominee, something that they've done for Autumn Fest, and what your nominee has also done for the community. See if they coincide. And last year we had Jean Michon, overwhelming candidate there to be a Grand Marshal, and I think people ran out of paper telling us everything
Yes.
that Jean had done for the community. So I mean, you don't have to get up to Jean's heights for your nominee, but someone that maybe just hasn't been recognized
Right. I
at
think
all.
this community is
So,
loaded with
with
people
like
that volunteer. And yes.
Okay. All right, so that once again, you go to the Autumn Fest website, autumnfest.org, so you can see the list of former Grand Marshals, which is important. And
Right.
in case you say, oh, I want this person to be in, and like you say, oh, Dave Richards should have it, and you look at it, oh, Dave's already had that award. All right, we'll cross him off.
One of the finest years of my life.
And so, and then you're just gonna move. All right, who's number 2 on your list, and just move on to there. So.
Of course, it did get a little complicated when I had to ride in the parade and not broadcast the parade, but oh well.
Well,
We got by it.
we got through
Fine.
it though, didn't we?
Yeah.
Somehow
We
So,
did.
There you
Good
go.
support.
So whoever you think, and they don't necessarily have to be someone from Woonsocket, but someone that just
Well,
attributes to the
Somebody
community
who's
here.
relevant in Woonsocket, obviously,
Yeah.
would take care of all the qualifications. They can live in. I mean, we just learned of the retirement of Fire Chief Paul Chatraw. Well, he's been a North Smithfield resident for a very, very long time, but he, as the mayor pointed out during his retirement announcement, he kind of like lives in Woonsocket and just sleeps in North Smithfield. I get that because I did that for many years here. I lived in Woonsocket and I slept in Barrowville.
You can't nominate Paul Chatraw though; he's already been
Yeah.
the Grand Marshal. So people,
Well,
someone's
I'm
thinking, "Oh,
I use
there's a
him
good
as
choice."
an example
Yeah.
of somebody who doesn't live in the city, but I
Right.
mean, sure.
Yeah.
All right,
George
so-
in the city as well.
That's right.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
So once again, the application deadline, April 30th, and that's going to come up real quick. So just we ask you to put your thinking hats on and just who do you think would be good to be nominated to ride in the Autumn Fest parade and be the 2023 Grand Marshal. We always look forward to seeing the nominations that come in, because more often than not we go, oh yeah,
Didn't
we
think of that
didn't
one.
think of that for that person. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's why it's great to put it out to the community, because more brains, and maybe there's that person who just kind of quietly works away all the time and doesn't
Yeah.
make a fuss, and that makes the perfect Grand Marshal.
I forget when it was a few years ago. We opened it up to the public,
did.
and there was
And
just
that is a great idea.
yes, because we were just sitting around and it was just silence. Everyone said, "We have any ideas?" It was like, "Oh, gee, I don't know." Everyone we can think of has already been the Grand Marshal, so maybe we should open up to more brains than
Yes,
us.
yes.
We said-
Enlarge our circle.
Yes, and it's worked out great. I love seeing the applications that come in and the people that are nominated. And you're right, it's always people that you just hadn't thought of that. And it's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. So nominations for the 2023 Grand Marshal are now up and running at the website. Go to autumnfest.org to fill it out and nominate someone you think should be the 2023 Grand Marshal. All right, Judy, can you talk about anything that's Autumn Fest related that's coming up? That's something we have in the plans for this coming. We're assuming it's going to be to get the okay from the city council. So
Yes, yes. We do have. I mean, there are a lot of good things going on in the plans that aren't solid yet, and I think would probably hold on to announce, even as far as headliner for the parade. That's already being discussed and pretty close to selection, but we'll let Tom Gray come out with that one when that happens. We are doing Tag Day, of course. That'll happen in September. I'm trying to think what else we have talked about.
has that been approved by the city council?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe we're not doing Tag Day.
I mentioned
And I'm
this-
sure the committee would prefer that.
and I just wish we could come up with a better name for that.
For other than Tag Day?
Yes, because out on the
It's always
streets,
been that.
I know it has, but when you're out on the streets collecting money, more often than not, people that are coming by say, "What is Tag Day?"
Right.
They just,
So
when you see it and you're from out of the city, it doesn't pop into your mind. Oh, they're looking for money.
right. Oh, you're right.
It's just we don't know what this is.
So back in the day, you always received. It was it muscular dystrophy, and it was always done by the firemen, and they handed you. Was it
A
sticker.
decal or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sticker.
Yeah, a sticker, or it was kind of I remember even a flower or something small on a card. As a
What
young
about
girl.
buttons?
But right, we talked about doing the buttons, because if you're giving $1, you're getting a button.
Some
We
people
just
get
didn't
more
wanna
than
slow-
$1 though.
They do. And we
So-
didn't want to slow
but they
traffic
got a button.
down.
Okay, they
Yeah.
get one.
And they can put it right there in their dash so that everybody knows. That goes way back to the veterans when they did the poppies.
That's
Yeah.
what it was, the poppies. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of. I knew it was a little
They would give you a poppy and you put it up under your rear view,
Yes.
your visor, so that they could see through the windshield that you had a poppy which you'd already donated. Thank you very much. Move on.
That's true. I was wondering where
And
that came
people
from.
are more willing to donate because they knew they weren't going to get hit up at every intersection for the rest of the day.
Right, right. And it was typically just one weekend. So whether it was
Yeah.
Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, I think it was Memorial Day.
And I know
you-
Tag Day
And
fits
then
well
people
on the
left
sign.
the poppies up for 20
Yes.
years, so they changed the colors of the poppies after a while.
Okay. All right.
Tag Day fits well on the sign because it's only 3 letters, and you make the letters nice and big. But people driving up the road, if they're from out of town, I
Really
don't,
doesn't make
I
any
don't know
sense.
what this
You're
means.
right.
Unless we put a dollar sign on it.
Money Day,
Let's call it Money Day, yeah, or
jackpot.
or Donation Day. But that's a long name too. But I haven't got an answer for this. But
Button Day. You're right. We could do Button Day. And we'd have to probably
Well, you
put
could tie it in. If you were
press
giving
release
buttons
out
in
there.
exchange for any donation,
Right.
then it would be Button Day.
yeah,
That would make sense.
It would make sense.
And it's easy to promote. You can sell it.
Yeah.
It's that works out for me.
Well, it would
Well,
be
folks,
really
this is
cool
how these things happen. People just discuss
Yeah.
things.
Melissa has a.
If you made an Autumn Fest sticker with the 3 leaves that you could put on your windshield,
Sure,
I would
that's-
totally rock that.
You would.
I would.
That's a great idea.
And then
A
whatever
decal.
donation, a decal. Yeah, that
I
would be
love
great.
that.
Wouldn't you love to see like a
and
lot
that's
of
an easy
like tons
handout.
of Yeah, and they're cheap, right? So
Yes.
yeah, sometimes I have great ideas.
That's a great idea. I love that.
What if you conned your favorite local radio station into making them and donating them to AutoFest, so you didn't have the expense of all of
Yeah,
that, just for
that'd be great.
just for having a.
I wonder if that would be
Shall we
possible.
say a colorful
better idea.
green logo at the bottom of the button?
But you know what I can picture happening, because people love to do this on their license plates, and it drives me crazy. Is they put the sticker, and then they put a sticker above the sticker, and above, and they go around, and they like. Don't do that. But I can.
I used to do that.
That drives
It shows
me
the longevity.
crazy. I know why. Why?
Yeah, but you end up with a 1-inch thick.
Which also
bunch of
drives me.
stickers.
Which also drives me crazy.
wanna
But I
peel
can
them off.
imagine people going to every intersection, getting the decal, and just putting them like along, their window. I think I would probably do that.
I think that's a great idea. I really do. I love
Write that down, Judy.
Bring it up at the next meeting.
Yes,
We will.
definitely.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
You know, when you're paying the right
even the
price
bu-
for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON Radio.
Coffee and on ON, AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards, Melissa Murray, Judy Sullivan from the Autumn Fest Steering Committee. She is the general chairperson. Congratulations, by the way, on being reelected.
Thank you.
General chair. And we get 2 new people. Well, not 2 new people. One person coming up as vice chair.
We
Stephanie
do.
Santoro is back, and someone new as vice chair.
Yes, Steve Laramie, the entertainment director, who was absolutely awesome. So excited to have him on board.
Because he wasn't doing enough last year.
No, he really wasn't.
So we said, Steve, you're doing more. And he said, okay. Well, first he said no. And then he said, okay. And Cindy Johnson's back as treasurer, and Adam
Brunetti
back as secretary.
Yes,
so,
our rock star Adam.
so it's a great executive committee this year, and we're looking forward to doing fun things. Something's coming up that Melissa's going to be very excited about that we can't tell you about right now, though. Sorry about that. It's got to do with entertainment. So later, little.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think I said too much.
yeah.
You did. And you heard it here first.
I didn't say a thing. Yes. All right, so Autumn Fest, once again, always Columbus Day weekend. They'll be voting on it tonight at the Woonsocket City Council meeting, so please come out if you have the time. Come out and support Autumn Fest. They'll be voting on it so we can have the 45 years. How
45
about that?
years. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
That is
Jeez.
insane.
Dave, you were there for number 1. It's just, did you? You
was.
probably weren't thinking
We
then,
broadcasted right on this radio channel.
but I bet you didn't say, I can't wait for number 45.
No thought was given to that.
Yeah, I bet not.
That morning, and I've said this so many times, forgive me for being redundant. That morning, you bring me back, and I'm remembering that we worked for months to put this together. And that morning, when we were broadcasting the first one, they were letting go of the balloons. You can't do that anymore. They had the doves released.
Mm-hmm.
They had the cannons firing.
Mm-hmm.
They had every firehouse in the city was sounding its siren, and every
And
church
a
but
church.
one was ringing the bells.
How did you synchronize that?
It was all at 10 o'clock in the morning.
But everybody's
And they were well.
They're
They
just-
they
everyone look
were
at
to
their watch?
listen. They were to listen to 12:40 a.m. for the synchronization.
really.
I just got chills. Like, that's crazy that all could happen in the city.
You can't do that anymore.
No.
I mean,
No.
society has changed so much that you can't get that kind of cooperation. But when Socket had that kind of cooperation, and people were starving for Autumn Fest because they just didn't have anything like this. Now we have these wonderful fairs and festivals, and we're very, very blessed. So perhaps people don't have the same sense of urgency. But I'm thinking back on that morning, and Dave Russell is there with me, Steve Bianchi is there with me, Jim Biliak was there with me, and the rest of the steering committee was at other places, but those are the ones who were with me there at the broadcast. And they said, I sure hope the heck people come. Or we're going to look like fools. And
they
we
did.
got bowled over the first day. Bowled over. We're looking around and said, oh my goodness, if it gets any more popular than this, we're going to have work to do. Mm-hmm. And so that was the first Autumn Fest, the first day of the first one.
When they
But we have been rewarded. The hard work has been rewarded from hundreds of people who have been on the committee and just volunteered for many, many years. Like I said, I was on the committee for I don't know, maybe it's 20 years or something like that. But I've always volunteered. Every year I've done something for the committee. For every single
when they were
one.
putting together the first one, were they thinking, "Hey, this can be an annual event," or were they just saying, "Let's do this one year and we'll see what happens"?
Well, they didn't get too deep into that. They were focused on getting the first one off the ground. But they had in the back of their mind, if it's cool and it works,
Yeah.
maybe we can do it again.
And this synchronization, was that Saturday morning at 10
Saturday
a.m.?
morning at 10 o'clock.
And did they host a parade that year as well?
No.
No.
I don't believe there was a parade the very first year. I don't remember clearly, but I don't think so. The rest of the weekend was a bit of a blur because it was
I'm
like
sure it was.
you had no sleep.
It's a blur for us
running-
as well.
Who shut off the cannons?
There was a group, a guy in Blackstone who was a part of a military reenactment group.
Okay.
And he brought in cannons from the Korean War and Jeeps
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You know, he drove them in on Jeeps. He did that for years. Could have been 20 years. Wow. And he came right over to where the stage was, off to the side. And, of course, they were shooting blanks. But they were, honest to goodness, bang, there goes the cannon.
Which
And
way
it
did they
ran
point the
several of them.
cannons? Towards Social
Toward-
Street or
toward-
the other way?
Toward the water.
Oh, okay. All right.
Remember, there was a big
was-
pond there.
The
then.
big pond,
was
yeah.
still there.
Yeah. They aimed for the fountain.
Yeah.
And so the wadding and everything did pop out and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but it was quickly dissipated.
See, Judy's writing this down. Hey, cannons.
You can't do the balloons anymore. It's all
I know,
political
I
now.
know.
Can't do the doves either.
Can't do the doves.
Is that an animal rights thing?
Yeah, I think it's
Well,
think it was
I've
recent.
seen it. I've seen it at funerals, at,
dove release?
at burials.
maybe they have a
They
special.
do, yeah, but there's like 3 of them,
Yeah.
and they're really kind of like very pale carrier pigeons.
That's what doves are.
Well, I know
Doves
but
are
I
just
mean,
white
They weren't
pigeons.
really white, but they were
More
kind of
off
white.
gray.
They were lighter than your average.
Dave is very judgy.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Well, most people don't know that about doves. They're like, oh, doves, and then they're like, ew, pigeons. But
the
they're
same
really,
bird?
it's the same bird. They're just
Yeah, it is. But remember the
white pigeons.
right. But carrier pigeons, they are trained to
Right,
return.
return. They
to
actually
a certain
return.
place.
Yeah.
And so there was a club that did that, and the pigeons, the doves, the doves left the box
And then came back.
and they circled for 2 or 3 times, and then they were gone. They got their bearings.
All right.
But
But
cannons,
but cannon. Let's bang. Things have started.
It was a
I don't
big
think
celebration.
That's
I don't
pretty
think
cool.
2 or 3 doves would make a really big impact.
Right.
No.
Well, now
Not
also the
this
way
day.
that you're doing it now, now you stop and consider that you start the festival. Well, a couple days before, you have a night,
Yeah.
and then you have another night, and then you start the festival, and then 2 hours later you have opening ceremonies. I don't know if the Big Bang thing is where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
but
is-
opening ceremonies definitely had to be moved. I think it was.
Autumn Fest's strength, I've said this to Joe, I'll say it in front of everybody. Autumn Fest's strength has been that they've made changes.
Yes.
Because you could never get 4+ decades, 4.5 decades, with anything that didn't change because the world changes.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. Yep. And the diversity and the different ideas on the committee that people bring, it helps us to keep going. So we don't necessarily always agree, but that's a good thing because different ideas are brought forth and then we get to, vote on them.
I wish
And wait
Dave
till they
Russell
hear
was still
Melissa's
here.
idea.
Yeah. I
Take
wish
it.
Dave Russell was still around because he could tell me what year the parade started.
Yeah.
I just don't remember
He had all that
broadcasting
knowledge.
it. Right. He would have remembered that more clearly than I was because I was his subordinate at that time. And I was just doing what he asked me to do. And
That's a good trivia
enthusiastically.
question.
And yeah, I was the one that hung the speakers on the poles. You don't even do that anymore.
Oh yeah, that's
No.
right.
We had to go down. We had to wait because when the beaches closed, the State Department of Environmental Management had the speakers, the loud systems that they had at all the state beaches along the coast. And we would go down to the depot where they had taken down the speakers and amplifiers and choose the best of the rusty old speakers and amplifiers because down
Salty.
at the coast, the salt air gets into them. And we'd always choose one more than necessary and bring them up and put them in the trailer. It's my job to hook them up and make sure they worked and go out in the bucket truck and string them along. Well, as laws change, you got to be certified to be in a bucket truck now. So I was no longer allowed to be in a bucket truck. The city did it for a little while. I think they got tired of it.
So
And
where did the speakers go? Throughout the park or through
Yeah.
through the parade?
we had a pattern right around the park on the aluminum poles and a couple of the wooden poles. And they pointed, and we covered all the major population areas around the park.
So you could broadcast announcements as well as
Yeah.
That's
And
Dave
it
Russell
was.
did that. He did announcements
It was
from the
Dave
trailer.
Russell was the
I
voice
love
on
that
there.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I think they did it as a fundraiser too. If you paid like $1, you could say
well,
happy
they
birthday to
they
so
considered
so-and-so.
happy messages because Queen of
Yeah.
Martyrs had been doing it at their carnival for a long time.
Yeah.
They considered happy messages. It didn't fly.
It didn't, okay.
But yeah, it was.
But
interesting.
Lost and Found,
The big thing
Yeah.
was
like that.
looking for kids.
Yeah.
And so and so your parents are looking for you at this place
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. And then but the one thing that the speaker system was used for most was to say. Number 10, go to the popcorn booth. Number 10 was code for the electrician.
That's crazy.
What was code for police? Do you remember?
No, they had their own radios.
Oh, that's true. That's
They
right.
didn't
you,
use
you
the
wouldn't,
system
you wouldn't
for
need
that.
the PA for
Yeah,
that.
they had
I
their own
do
radios.
love the PA system though, and I think technology has changed such
Yeah.
that would be, I mean,
It's passe.
yeah. But we are looking to bring, Wi-Fi into the park. I think it might be something easy where there are wireless
You're
speakers
going to need
throughout.
4. You're going to need 4 kickers to do that, I think.
To cover the entire park.
Yeah. 14
Well,
acres, that's a lot of park.
Yeah.
We have reached out to a couple
And
of companies.
and get ready because when you put over the course of 3 days, we've seen over 200,000 visit. Not they're all at the same time,
Right.
but it's easily 10 to 20,000 at one time in the park. Every one of them with their little iPhones and Androids pinging that same router.
Right.
You're not going to get. Yeah, right.
It's going to be really slow.
You're not going to get a good response when you offer it and it doesn't work. And so the investment will be you need something for when there's 20,000 people and it's going to work, and when there's 20 people and it works.
Right.
That requires a rather, shall we say, robust system.
Right.
So you're going to need at least 4 access points, if not 5, based on my knowledge of the industry.
That's good to know.
Well, it's just
Definitely.
something to think about. But
It is.
we're coming up to the 8:30. Judy has to leave us, but we do want to mention about the Nancy Phillips Autumn Fest Scholarship. Well, you can stick around if you like.
Okay.
I'm not going to have to kick
We're
you out.
not kicking her out.
But the Nancy Phillips Autumn Fest Scholarship is up. One graduating senior from Woonsocket High, that includes the Career and Technical Center in Mount St. Charles, can win a $1,000 scholarship from Autumn Fest. And all they got to do is fill out the application, put together a 500-word essay, and send it to Autumn Fest to Adam at secretary@autumnfest.org by May 1st to be in the running.
Right.
And then there's the Grand Marshal nomination forms that are up at autumnfest.org as well. Who do you know would be a good Grand Marshal that is given to the community and to Autumnfest as well? You can fill out the nomination papers, and we need those by April 30th of this year so we can announce the Grand Marshal sometime after that. Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else you want to say there, Judy?
No, that's it. Thanks so
Autumnfest?
much for having us on, and we're looking forward to the 45th. Exciting.
And we're looking forward to your successes down there at the Boys and Girls Club, too.
Oh, thank you.
Very much so.
I appreciate it, Dave, always.
So is that how you got Ellis to join the Autumnfest steering committee? You
He's-
will be part of this.
No, actually, that guy is
Yeah, we met him.
community driven.
He's-
Oh, yeah.
very
He's a
much
great
so.
guy.
He is. I mean, we are blessed. We have so many amazing people on the committee. Him being one of them, one of the 24. So, yeah, we're very lucky. Yep, we have great people in this community. Yep.
Very cool.
That's why it continues to move on, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely.
All right, time
Thank
for a look
you.
at the forecast right now, and the forecast being brought to you by Compassion International.
Sunshine today with a high of 51 degrees and a light west wind. Tonight, mostly clear, overnight low of 28. Tuesday's weather, sunshine and 61 and a calm wind. Wednesday, partly sunny and 56. Thursday, 60% chance of rain likely in the afternoon, mostly cloudy all day, high of 59. Friday, a 30% chance of additional rain, cloudy and 54. Saturday, 60% chance of rain likely, cloudy, high of 46, and on Sunday, partly sunny and 51.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we have sunny skies and 33 degrees. Families in poverty are facing a global food crisis. $50 provides a food kit to feed a family for a month. Just text the word radio to 97646. At the turn of this century, 27% of people who passed away were cremated. By the year 2020, that figure rose to 56%. The Cremation Association of America projects that by the year 2040, 4 out of 5 Americans will choose cremation over a casket burial. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center of Woonsocket can answer your questions about the cremation process. Go online to providencecremation.com. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center on Spring Street, Woonsocket. Let them create the perfect service for your loved one. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center. Do you have an upcoming event or newsworthy item that you feel your local daily newspaper should cover? Just email us at notices@woonsocketcall.com. That's notices@woonsocketcall.com. Or call us today at 767-8550. With over 50,000 local readers in print and online, The Call and woonsocketcall.com is your trusted daily local news source for important local news and happenings. Again, that number is 767-8550. The email address, notices@woonsocketcall.com. The Call and woonsocketcall.com, your daily local information source for the news you want to know. Hi, this is Joe Callahan, your maitre d' inside the Tiki Bar, heard Monday nights at 6 on ON Radio. It's 1 full hour of Jimmy Buffett music. The Tiki Bar is brought to you by Attorney Bob Lauder, the Carew Investment Group, Pepin Lumber, and Family Discount Furniture. It is Coffee Ann here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards and Melissa Murray. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for Judy Sullivan for popping by. Excuse me. And talking about things going on with Autumnfest coming up this year. We did have a note that was called in and just saying something that was in the Providence Sunday Journal. And it says, amid growing concerns about China's influence in the Indo-Pacific, Australia is planning to buy 220 Tomahawk cruise missiles from the United States after they announced it would buy nuclear-powered attack submarines from the U.S. as well to modernize its fleet. I didn't read this, so...
I didn't read it either.
Is there something Australia knows that the rest of us don't?
Right?
That they're... what are they preparing for? I don't know. They say they want to modernize the fleet. All right, we're just bringing it up to 2020 standards, 21st century standards, or are they worried about what's going on with China?
Probably a bit worried, but I didn't read the article. but it's unnerving.
It is. It is. Speaking of unnerving, we had the story this morning. It happened late Saturday into early Sunday morning, and it always amazes me when people are driving the wrong way on the highway.
Again, right.
Because I think, how are you doing this? How are you accomplishing this? Because to me, it takes a concerted effort to get on the highway incorrectly, and they're
Right.
always pulled over and given a DUI. So they're under the influence, yet they have managed to figure this out.
Go on the off ramp,
Yes.
onto the off ramp,
So
obviously going the wrong way,
So
and
this
then
person
somehow
from,
getting onto the highway. Oh
this
my
person
gosh.
from Worcester, Massachusetts, is driving south on 146 North. And they got stopped after getting into a crash, and that's usually how these things end, because they're in the right hand lane, which is actually the high speed lane.
And the person was from Worcester.
Yes.
So one just shudders to think if they actually made it all the way to Lincoln, Rhode
From
Island.
Worcester, Mass.
From Worcester.
Well,
we don't know
That's
that.
at least
That
a
wasn't in
20-minute
the
drive.
report.
And you don't notice that the highway is on the wrong side of you the entire time.
Well, look at all the headlights that are coming at
basic-
you.
And
The
right,
base-
I
the-
just wow.
Well, it's 3:15 in the morning. Maybe there weren't a lot
A
of
lot,
headlights
okay.
coming
There's
There's got to
in
be. There's
toward
always
you.
somebody.
But I mean, if you weren't inebriated, which we presume this person was,
'Cause
because
he refused
they
to take a
showed
test.
signs of intoxication and refused a chemical test to prove that it wasn't.
Yeah.
The first thing that I would have noticed is that there's no speed limit signs.
No, they're all backwards. You can't read them all.
All the signs are backwards,
Yeah.
and the highway's on the wrong side of me.
That's right.
Perhaps.
The other cars are over
But
there.
being intoxicated, perhaps he failed to ask himself that question. Why are there no speed limit signs?
Yeah.
They used to be.
I don't know. Now, I don't know if Melissa's ever heard this story. I have been on the highway, where someone passed me going in the wrong direction.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was in Massachusetts on Route 24, and I was in the middle lane going northbound, and someone in the high-speed lane passed me going south.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like-
yeah. Wow.
I actually turned around and went,
What is happening?
And it was in the middle of the day. It was like noon. And I was like, it was shocking when it happened. And
Did you estimate that they were going full highway speed?
tough to tell.
yeah.
It's tough for me to remember at the
Well,
time.
I'm just thinking that if you found yourself in that situation, how would you get yourself out of it?
Yeah. So he wasn't coming
I mean,
right.
suppose you made
he
a
wasn't
mistake,
in my
you
lane.
misread signs, didn't see something,
Yeah.
got on the wrong ramp, and end up in a wrong way position. What do? I would head for the breakdown lane as quickly as I could,
Well, yeah.
as safely as I could, and stop the car.
Yeah.
And then, if you sat there long enough, a police officer would come by, see you there.
What are you doing?
And with their lights,
Yeah.
you could just simply say, hey, listen, I made a mistake, officer, and I'm here because it's the only safe place for me to be. Will you help me turn around? You put on the lights
Yeah.
down, upstream, and turn on lights, get you to turn around safely so you can exit the highway and get on the right way. Now, that's the action I would take, but then again, I'm not intoxicated, so.
Right. And what happened to that person?
But I can picture, if you're in a place you're not familiar with, it's possible under some circumstances that you could get on the wrong ramp. It's, I know you're smiling at me like, no, it's not possible. You can't think of a situation.
I can't.
Well, I'm older than you. I know older drivers. And it's possible, at night especially,
But it's
to
almost like
become
it's almost like you have to do a
disoriented, get on the
U-turn and
wrong
go
one.
that way.
What's that?
It's almost like you have to do a U-turn to get onto the off ramp, which is really the on
Well,
ramp.
that's not true. Right around here, we've got places where you could get
Yeah.
on the wrong way. Yeah.
Yeah. We
All
do.
right.
We do. And I have gone the wrong way down a one-way street.
Oh, that I've done.
We have some.
And then once you start doing that, then people start beep beep beep, and you're like, sorry.
Yeah,
You just
Right.
try to pull over and then
the first
do
and
a
best
U-turn
thing
if
to
you
do,
can,
the
right?
first and
So-
best thing to do is to stop doing the wrong thing, which is travel
yeah.
the wrong way down a street. So stop traveling.
Yeah.
Put on your flashers.
pull
stop
over.
traveling, even if you're in the middle of everything. Just put on the flashers and stop.
So
And then you are now no longer traveling the wrong way on a roadway. You are now an obstruction,
yeah.
which is a totally different rule.
But chances are,
And
if you do
safer.
that and you refuse to take a breathalyzer test.
Well, yeah. This,
else is up, yeah.
okay.
this person's judgment is not up to snuff.
That's right.
In my case, about a mile down the road, he got into a car accident.
Oh,
so if I was in the high speed lane
If you had been
and
in
not in
the
the middle
wrong
lane,
lane,
I don't
right.
think that other car was going to move.
Right.
And so that's who he crashed into, someone else in the high speed lane.
and
And he might have thought, I'm in the right because I'm in the slow speed lane. Everyone else is wrong. So
Yeah.
this was a number of years ago. This is like 20 years ago that this happened, but it was very unnerving at the time.
Well, it's a
when it
shame.
first happened. It's like, whoa, what?
It
what
is.
It's a
what did I
shame. And
just
two
see?
other drivers now
got
two other-
hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. They got in a nasty accident.
And one guy was, in the Mercedes just happened to be in the wrong place.
Well, that's true.
One car hits the other car, and that car hits the Mercedes.
Yeah.
And they get hurt.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow.
It's a shame.
All right, so that's
And over in Rentham, that lady that they
yeah.
airlifted from Rentham to Rhode Island Hospital, she did not survive. She
Mm.
had serious injuries when we first got the report. Later on, an update revealed that she passed.
that's too bad.
and that was on Route 140.
And she
in
was
Rentham.
doing nothing wrong. She's just
Yeah.
driving down the
And
street,
the other truck came over into her lane.
overcompensated on a fork, got in the wrong travel lane.
Wow.
Whack.
All right, got to be careful out there. A North Providence teenager is facing charges taking a BB gun to school.
Now
You can't say, well, it's not a real gun. Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not shooting bullets, but it's still shooting something.
Now, talk about your dumb moves.
Teenager, right?
Well, sure,
So,
he's 14.
I mean, okay,
Okay, so-
maybe years ago,
Old
but
enough to know.
nowadays, the way kids are raised now and what they
you
hear and
gotta
what
know.
they know growing up, they gotta know that this stuff doesn't go.
Now, it doesn't say if he pleaded like, oh, I didn't know, or I forgot, this is an honest mistake. We don't have any of that information. All we have is that he has now been suspended indefinitely from the school, and the case goes now to family court. So they're taking it pretty seriously.
Yeah.
Which just makes you believe, did he bring it with the intent to do some real harm?
We don't know the circumstance,
somebody.
so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
And they can't give you that information because it's a
he's 14.
minor.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But that's the latest. Also, we can tell you is that a 14-year-old boy's been he's facing charges because he took a BB gun that was inside his backpack.
Yeah, not
Now,
a good idea.
Which, how do they find out it's in his backpack? Well, usually what happens is the boy talks.
Right, or shows somebody.
Guess what I have in the bag? Take
Yeah,
look
a
at
little
this. And now
zipper-
someone
right.
else either hears it or sees it, and they run off and say, "Hey,
Right.
what's his name over here? Has got something in his bag." And then once the teachers hear that,
That's it. Everything.
investigation
right.
stops. Can we see your bag? Maybe they
Right.
might even ask.
No
They may
lockdown
just
or
take-
anything like that. Just
They didn't say if North Providence hired them
Yeah.
to a lockdown on that.
Probably would have heard about that.
Yeah, if it was a little bigger than that. So that's what happened in North Providence High. Melissa, any thoughts? Surprised? Not surprised? House Speaker Joe Shikarchi says he's not running for Congress. Okay, you both laugh.
I'm sorry.
Everybody's running and everybody's not running. So
Okay.
I'm not laughing because I think it's funny per se, in as much as you might say, well, he could never have been elected anyway. No,
he could have.
No, of course he could have.
Yeah.
But the funny thing to me, the peculiar thing was the only people who are asking him are people who would benefit from that seat being vacant in the Rhode Island legislature and then voting in a new speaker. And of course, everybody's coming up to him and say, "Hey, you got to run for Congress? You could, Okay, fine." And he's saying, "Geez, I can't believe the support I got here. Maybe I should think about it." And maybe he then realized that the people they had somebody else in mind for speaker.
Well, I mean, it's not apples to apples, and the speaker is a very powerful person in
Yes.
this state, and
And
I
then he
don't
goes
know
down to
why.
Washington, where a tourist has more say in what goes on down there.
Yeah, I mean, it just still depends. You want to be a big fish,
In the
In a little pond
the other way
or-
around?
Well, the big
Right?
fish in small pond. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right.
Well, that's what he says basically in his statement.
Not-
I
not
can get more
surprised.
done here
Yeah,
than
yeah.
down there.
Yeah, and
Oh,
he
okay.
just really starting career as speaker. You know, he hasn't been speaker for a super long time, so not surprising. Not surprising.
Okay. Well, in case you have tickets to go to Gillette Stadium to see some of the shows that are coming this summer to Foxborough, Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, Luke Combs, Beyonce, Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel, and Stevie Nicks. Boy, they got a pretty heavy lineup. The MBTA is offering special round-trip commuter service just to Gillette Stadium. And the trains start in Providence, and in Boston too, but Providence, and they'll stop in Attleboro and Mansfield, and then drop you off at Gillette Stadium.
That sounds great.
And then get back on the train and take you back. Now,
So you can park in
there's
the
a cost for
periphery
this.
and take the T in.
Yes.
Yeah.
These trains do run during football season,
Yeah.
not from Providence. I know in Mansfield they do. I don't know about Attleboro, but not a bad idea for the T.
Yeah, I think it's a
up a
great
little
How
extra
idea.
far,
cash.
how far from the Gillette Stadium is the T station?
From the stadium, it's about maybe it's an eighth of a mile. It is really close. It's a quick
closer
jaunt across the
it's
parking
closer
lot.
than getting from, say, Fenway Park to Kenmore
Yes,
Square.
yes, it's a lot
Or
closer.
Copley Square, I'm sorry.
There's the stadium, and then there's parking behind it, and then there's the rail.
Yeah.
Right there. You can't see it from Route 1.
No.
But it is very, very
That's why
clo-
I
it is-
asked, because I hadn't
yeah.
seen it from Route 1.
It is very close. It is not a long walk at all. But yeah, not a bad idea. No sayings on how much it would cost to do this, but
Well, I
bucks,
mean, if
30
you're
bucks.
already right.
can't be more than what the parking cost at Gillette, $50.
And the tickets for the shows that you've mentioned.
Oh, that's right. They're all
Oh my goodness.
They're all up there.
Insane. Insane.
All right, we're going to take another break here on the Coffee and program. More coming your way. If you're going to call in comments or questions, 766-1240.
Rhode Island offers beautiful seasons for us to enjoy. This is Armin Randolph from the Rhode Island Emergency Management Agency. During winter months, we need to be prepared for winter emergencies. Create a disaster kit and an emergency contact list. Be sure to have batteries, water, non-perishable foods, and charge your cell phones before an expected storm. Let's be prepared, be ready, and stay safe. For more information on keeping your family safe, visit riema.gov. This message is sponsored by the Office of Governor Dan McKee and the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan. Melissa Murray is here. Dave Richards is here as well. All right. Trindale Island. Any idea where it is?
Nope.
Well, it's off the coast of Brazil, in case you were wondering.
Okay.
Well, it's a volcanic island that's off the coast of Brazil, and it's long fascinated scientists, but now it's terrifying them. Why, you ask? Go ahead and ask why.
Why, Joe?
That's because of the recent discovery there are plastic rocks.
Oh.
These rocks are made of melted plastic intertwined with natural rocks. One geologist studying the rocks says, quote, "This is new and terrifying at the same time because pollution has reached geology." So your plastic bottle that you're throwing in the ocean,
Yep.
that's what they're melding together.
Yep.
All right. The plastic is believed to come mainly from fishing nets. Those looking at the matter closely say the bottom line is that, quote, "the pollution, the garbage in the sea, and the plastic dumped incorrectly in the oceans is becoming geological material preserved in the Earth's geological records."
Well, isn't there's also I was going to say, it'd make a plastic island, but there is a plastic island per se in the Pacific where it's just this huge swirling mass of plastic.
It's in the Pacific
Yeah.
Ocean.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You should look it up. It's absolutely horrifying. It's horrifying.
Yeah. All right.
It's all where everybody's plastic from all these, different coasts, different countries, and it's like just its own swirling
And it
little
just swirls?
floating plastic island. Yep.
And what's going to be done about it? Do we just keep an eye on it? And
I mean, it's massive. It needs to be cleaned up, but how do you
How?
do that? Who does it? Who's
I don't know.
responsible
Who's
for it?
responsible for it?
Right?
It's almost like, have you heard that there's that massive amount of seaweed that's swirling around? I think it's kind of like near the Gulf of Mexico.
No, I don't know about
it's-
this.
Yeah, they said it might reach land at some point. I mean, it's moving very slowly, like in a couple of years.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
it going to interfere with my beach days? This is what I need to
Well, only if you're going to be in the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay, it's not coming up
I
the
don't see
East
it
Coast.
swinging down. No, I think
So
it's more
it's a
going
massive,
northwest.
it's a massive seaweed.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't know if it's miles wide, but it's supposed to be huge. Yeah. All right. We do have a note that was called in 766-1240. Leaving the old Park and Shop Plaza, there is a road near the strip mall you could easily go the wrong way down the one-way street
Yes.
if you did not know the area.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Fairlawn, I believe, isn't
Is
it?
that the name of the street?
Or maybe the next one over. But I know exactly
But
where
that's,
you...
okay, but that's not a highway. I'm talking about getting on a highway.
Right,
going
different.
the wrong
Because
way.
yes, because I will admit that I have gone the wrong way down a one-way street, and I think many of us have.
Yeah.
Particularly
By mistake.
By mistake. And I've seen people go Cumberland Street and then try to take a right on Clinton where the Walgreens is.
I have seen people try to do that too.
Yeah, and I've seen someone going the wrong way down Cumberland Street on the wrong side, even though I'm like, well, and coming like towards me, but I'm like, but you're to the left of the double line. What are you doing? Like you can literally just move over. But there's a lot of little streets like that. Like we know, because we live around here, so everybody
Yeah.
knows that you can go down that little curvy street and get to where the Park and Shop used to be, as we like to say. But yes, it absolutely is a one way.
I have been behind people that put on their directional signal to take a right onto Clinton Street right at the Walgreens, and I'm like, all right, I'm moving over to the other side. And I'm not dealing with you at all.
No.
I want to see. Although I would like to see what happens when you try to turn on this street, and now you have 2 lanes of traffic coming right at you. Now what are you going to do?
It happens.
And I wonder if they're doing it because I missed the entrance to the Walgreens back there. Well, if I take a quick right here, I can go down and quickly get into Walgreens. If there's nobody coming.
That's not a good gamble.
Well, no, it's not. But I wonder if that's what they're thinking. I just need to go to Walgreens, and I missed the entrance, and now I'm in the wrong lane.
Just go around.
No, well, now it's a long way around.
Oh
You know
well.
what people
Oh
are.
well. Oh well.
I know. All righty. So this is I find this amusing. It's not amusing for the person in the story, but there's a couple out in Colorado, and they really don't like when door-to-door solicitors come to their door. Most people put up a no solicitation sign or something like that. Not this person. A door-to-door salesman triggered a booby trap.
Oh no.
Near the entrance to their home in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office says the salesman stepped on a tripwire at the home earlier this month. The motion triggered a loud bang and a bright light that left the man with a headache and constant ringing in his ears.
Oh my goodness.
Investigators later found a device loaded with a substance similar to pepper spray in the backyard. The couple has been charged with felony menacing, prohibited use of a weapon, assault, and conspiracy. That's a lot of charges right there.
That's a lot of charges.
And most of them negative.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of canvassing, right? When you're going door to door and like
Oh, yeah.
some people, well, it's not really in this area, but out in Western Rhode Island, some people really have long
Want their
driveways and they,
privacy, yeah.
right? It says do not trespass, and you don't go to those places. So there's a couple of places around here where people will, no soliciting. But
Yeah.
is soliciting the same as canvassing? I don't think so, but
It's not supposed to be.
it's not supposed to
different.
be. But some
Politicians
folks
are
get.
exempt.
Well, some folks really don't like it. I had
Well, yeah,
somebody-
those people, yeah.
They're like, and with the Ring doorbells now, you have to,
I do
they know who you are.
I do
so,
wonder if
yeah.
it was someone that was actually selling something, or were they just passing on information about something? Not necessarily a politician, but someone trying to
religious
get you,
organization
or someone trying to get you to
anybody,
sign a
right?
petition for whatever was going
Yeah,
on.
right.
But either way, they don't need to be attacked, I guess.
The ringing in the ears, that's some kind of serious stuff. That
Yeah,
can
that's
really
a real,
drive you crazy, right?
the loud bang and the big flashing bright lights in your eyes. Yikes.
Yeah, I can't imagine like setting up a tripwire in front of my home unless I specifically thought that like maybe
That's tough to plead not guilty to.
yeah.
It looks like you definitely
that's a
set
lot of
this up.
effort. That's a lot of
a lot of
effort.
effort to put into that. All right, you always hear stories about parents that just go a little too far when they want little Johnny and little Susie to excel in sports.
Oh no.
So we got another one. A Maryland father is accused of pulling a loaded gun on his son's basketball coaches over the lack of his kid's playing time. Isn't that sad?
Outrageous.
I remember when my daughter didn't play sports, my son played sports, and I had a few coaches, always had a parents' meeting at the beginning of the season, and he said he will talk to you about anything dealing with your child except playing time.
That's smart.
That's between me and the student or the athlete. Mm-hmm. I will not talk to you about that. So
That's pretty wise.
It happened at a school in West Baltimore earlier this month, according to charging documents. Troy Spencer told the coaches they better put his son in the game. And after a brief struggle, the coaches took the gun from Spencer and he left the school.
Oh my gosh.
There was no discharge. No one was injured. Spencer is being held without bail on 23 counts, including illegally possessing a firearm with a previous felony conviction. All right. Spencer pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in 1997. Wow. And wasn't allowed to have a gun. The preliminary hearing is set for next month. This
And
guy's
the
got
person
more
that
trouble.
suffers the most
Well, it's the
is the
son.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know, these delusions of grandeur that some parents have. And I wish that it gave the age of the basketball player. But you're keeping my son from either the NBA or a Division I scholarship.
Well, then it also teaches the child, oh, hey, if there's something that you don't like, you can just solve your problem with violence and yelling.
Yeah.
No, not good. Not sportsmanship, not, working hard, waiting your turn, trying to be better, so that you can get that chance to play. Just pull a gun and
put
yell.
him in because my son's or daughter's the best, and you don't recognize
Yeah, I feel
it.
very, very bad for that child. No
Yep.
matter what their age is, it's not good.
The old adage is if you look back or if you want to look this stuff up, Michael Jordan was cut from his varsity basketball team when he was a junior in high school. I think he was a junior or sophomore. And so, you know what he did? He went out and practiced. He went on the JV team. He kept practicing and practicing. And eventually, the next year, he made it to the varsity. And
Yep.
the rest is history from
Yeah,
there.
the rest is history.
So
right?
that's what you go out and practice and you go out and shoot hoops for hours on end.
Yeah, not the fault of the child whatsoever.
So
Or the coach or anybody else, just the
no.
deranged individual.
And
Careful how you say that. Smile when you say that.
Well,
when you're pulling
Deranged
a,
individual.
I mean, there's one thing to.
it's pretty
It's pretty
deranged to think that that's a good.
No, maybe maybe the person thinks, and this is not a good idea either. But if you pull a gun, if there's no bullets in it, maybe they're just trying to scare you. But if it's loaded, now that's a whole different category.
And also, if you have a felony, you're not supposed to have a gun.
Well,
It doesn't
that's-
matter if the gun has bullets in it or not.
It's funny. Usually, convicts just don't really care about if they're breaking the law again.
That is true. That is true. They really care about whether or not their kid gets playtime, apparently.
He's got to play. He's the best. My son's the best, and I don't know why you don't recognize that. All right. Now, Melissa, you spent some time down in Georgia. Where is Fayetteville in relation to Atlanta? Do you know? Can you give us a little?
Oh,
Way
Fayette,
up north.
Is it?
Fayetteville,
North and east.
yeah.
By 2 states.
No, Fayetteville, Georgia.
No, Fayetteville, Georgia.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not
I
North
thought-
Carolina.
I thought North Carolina. I'm sorry.
I asked. I just want to know how close it was to
I've
Georgia.
been there. Yeah.
All right. There's a person there by the name of Rick Ross. Now, Rick Ross is a musician. He is a rapper kind of person. Usually they have the really cute, funny names. Seems kind of normal. But Rick Ross, he's in trouble with his neighbors in Fayetteville, Georgia. It's when these musicians and sports figures too, they make a lot of money, and so they go out and purchase odd things that you wouldn't normally go purchase. Okay, he has purchased 2 buffaloes to roam around on his land. All right, but they keep wandering onto his neighbor's property.
Okay.
And that's really the issue
Yeah.
with the neighbor. That neighbor is worried that the 2,000-pound animals, buffaloes are big.
That's a big animal.
Pose a threat to her 2 small children who often play outside in their backyard where the buffaloes are coming over to say hi.
Where the buffalo roam.
Where the
Yes.
buffalo are roaming over. So the neighbor gets into I love this, gets into an argument with one of Ross's entourage, one of the team members. You don't talk to Ross, you talk to me. Although I do that here at the station, don't I, Dave? No one talks to Dave until they talk to me first.
Generally speaking.
No, that's not true. But anyway, so the mother plans to file a civil dispute with the city of Fayetteville. I don't know what it can be, other than I guess he's allowed to have buffaloes on his land.
Presumably, but wouldn't they need to be fenced in?
You would think
If
so.
you were going to get a couple
would
of
fence them in.
2,000-pound
Animal.
animals, you probably want to fence them in. Are you going to just assume like you can't get an invisible fence for your
the dogs,
for
yeah.
your buffalo?
No.
And also, why? Why buffalo? You just want to
And they're not
because you can.
but they're not indigenous to Georgia.
No, and Fayetteville,
why have
I
them
think,
there?
is on the peripherals of, like the Atlanta metro area, like a little outside that, and I believe it's west. I can't recall, but I did know somebody from Fayetteville.
So yeah, I
So-
don't know. It just people like to. He wants. I'm the only one
I have
with
buffalo.
on my property.
Okay.
I-
Maybe he
I
doesn't want to
just-
cut the grass. I don't know. Like,
I
get some
wonder-
goats then,
I
right?
wonder how they handle the terrible humidity in Georgia in the summertime.
And who cleans up after the
Well,
buffalo?
you gotta hire people. To do that. That's part of the
'Cause-
team members over there. That's part of your job to take care
Yeah, I
of these
wouldn't want
babies.
that job because it's a big job.
It is a big job. All right, we've come to the end of the program. Thanks for listening in, everyone. Our thanks to Judy Sullivan, Autumn Fest General Chairperson, who came in and talked about the Nancy Phillips Autumn Fest Scholarship that is available for a graduating senior this year in Woonsocket and at Mount St. Charles, and talking about the nominations for this year's Grand Marshal. And those nominations are being accepted right now. For both of the scholarship and the nomination, go to their website, autumnfest.org. Melissa Murray, thanks for coming in as well.
Thank you for having me. Happy Monday, everyone.
All right, Dave Richards, thanks for coming in.
Been a pleasure.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. Coming up tonight, it is the Tiki Bar, 1 full hour Jimmy Buffett music, 6 to 7, a prelude to tonight's Woonsocket City Council meeting. Coming up next, it is At the Library with Leslie Page and Food First with Karen Zangari.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is